$129.86.
Welcome, Homeless Life Stories.
1,842 homeless individuals. That is the official number Venice recorded in 2025. Nearly 46% of them sleep entirely outdoors, exposed to the sand, the wind, and the neon lights of a city once called the paradise of the West Coast. A glamorous land that is slowly losing its soul. Venice Beach, where golden sunlight stretches across the waves, where travelers come seeking freedom. Yet, just a few hundred meters inland, rows of faded tents appear, along with vacant eyes and restless dreams drowned in the sound of the sea. On Oceanfront Walk, Maria, once a nurse, now lives in a small tent. She says, "I still wake up every morning to watch the sunrise, because at least that's something no one can take from me. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." That verse whispers through the Venice waves, reminding us that compassion is not merely emotion, but humanity's duty in the face of suffering. Venice spends hundreds of millions of dollars each year on homelessness programs. Yet a question still echoes through its windy streets. Where has all the money gone, and why are so many still without a place to call home?
Yeah, just get the trash and I'll take the trash.
Join Homeless Life Stories in number 1, The Unseen Venice, and see this city through the eyes of those forgotten beneath the California sun. Number 1, The Unseen Venice. Venice has always been hailed as a symbol of freedom, where sidewalks turn into stages and anyone can live, create, and dream. But between the vibrant graffiti walls and the flaming sunsets over the ocean, another reality exists: 1,842 people without homes, nearly half of whom sleep entirely outdoors. Along Oceanfront Walk, tourists snap photos of street performers, but just behind them, tense old vans and the raspy coughs of those surviving on the streets fill the air. Venice is not only a paradise for tourists, it's also an unintended refuge for shattered dreams. Maria, 39, once worked as a nurse. After her husband died in a work accident, she spent her savings on hospital bills and raising her daughter. But life in Los Angeles is brutally expensive. When her landlord raised the rent, she couldn't keep up. Now, among dozens of tents lining Oceanfront Walk, Maria holds on to one last piece of dignity. Each morning, she ties her hair neatly, smooths out her blanket, and sits watching the sea. "I don't want my daughter to think we've lost everything," she says softly. "We're just waiting for a new beginning." Stories like Maria's are far from rare. Venice was once a place for everyone. But today, only 15% of the city's homeless can find space in shelters. Most sleep outside where rain, crime, and despair lurk through the night. Programs like Inside Safe and Bridge Housing have helped hundreds, but at their current pace, it would take decades to meet the real demand. The greatest paradox remains: the Venice homelessness budget now exceeds $100 million per year, yet its effectiveness can't be measured in restored hope. Love your neighbor as yourself. This verse is not just a moral lesson, it's a mirror reflecting the reality of Venice today, where many see, but few truly look. Between the glow of the ocean and the shadow of poverty, Venice needs more than money. It needs heart, compassion, and the belief that change is still possible. Let's continue to number 2. The Roots of the Crisis, where we uncover the core of this tragedy, because only by understanding the roots can we begin to heal. Number 2, the roots of the crisis. It's no coincidence that Venice, one of Los Angeles's most iconic areas, has become the epicenter of its homelessness crisis. Behind the postcard beauty lies a complex web of causes: skyrocketing rent, the shortage of affordable housing, mental health struggles, and decades of inequality. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Venice now exceeds $2,800 per month, while California's minimum wage stands around $16 an hour. That means a full-time worker must spend nearly 70% of their income just to keep a roof if they can even find one. If not, they're gradually pushed out to tents, vans, and the margins of society. Many once had stable jobs. James, 45, a former welder, lost his job after an accident. When I couldn't work, I lost my insurance. Then I lost my home. It all happened so fast I didn't even realize it, he recalls. James's story reveals a brutal truth. One small misfortune can collapse an entire life. Adding to that, cracks in the social safety net deepen the problem. After leaving hospitals, prisons, or rehab centers, many people have nowhere to go. The shortage of SROs, single-room occupancy, once the last resort for low-income residents, has stripped away their final lifeline. While Los Angeles pours billions into housing projects, most resources concentrate downtown, leaving Venice to shoulder a disproportionate burden. Historical inequities and racial disparities mean people of color and indigenous residents make up over 40% of the area's homeless population. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. That scripture isn't acceptance, it's a warning. A society is only truly strong when no one is left behind. And as we move to number 3, a community in crisis, we'll see how Venice faces a deeper fracture between empathy and exhaustion, between compassion's light and apathy's shadow. Number 3, a community in crisis. Venice's story isn't just about numbers. It's a portrait of a community torn between compassion and fatigue. Along Oceanfront Walk, where crowds gather to watch the sunset, locals have grown used to the sight of hundreds of tents, the city's new normal. Neighborhoods around Rose Avenue and 3rd Street now mark the thin line between two worlds. On one side, trendy art cafes; on the other, dozens seeking a safe place to sleep. Residents are divided, empathy on one side, fear and frustration on the other. Many who once supported housing programs now feel powerless as conditions stagnate. I signed the petition for more shelters, a resident says, but every week, new tents appear. We don't hate them, we just don't know how to help anymore. Yet, amid the tension, there are people like James, a 58-year-old veteran who once fought in Iraq. After his wife's death, he lost his home and moved into a tent near Venice Boulevard. Instead of giving in to despair, he founded the Venice Cleanup Crew, volunteers who pick up trash, distribute water, and talk with others on the street. We don't just take, he says, we give too. His words echo through the surf, a reminder that dignity doesn't vanish just because a roof does. In truth, Venice faces not only a housing crisis, but a human crisis. When authorities clear encampments and media debate tourist imagery, what's truly lost isn't space, it's trust between people. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. That verse resonates through Venice's streets, a reminder that compassion isn't weakness, but the only strength that can heal a broken community. Number 4, efforts falling short. In recent years, Venice has received hundreds of millions of dollars to combat homelessness. Programs like Inside Safe, Bridge Housing, and the Venice Dell Project, a proposed 140-unit supportive housing complex, all carried hope for change. But reality remains riddled with cracks. Venice Dell, once hailed as a beacon of hope, has stalled for years amid legal disputes between residents and the city. Supporters call it humane. Opponents say it would ruin the ocean view. The result? Nothing changes. The walls remain unbuilt, while hundreds still sleep under nylon tents on the sand. Programs such as Inside Safe and Bridge Home have moved thousands into temporary shelters, but sustainability remains elusive. Many end up back on the streets not by choice, but due to a lack of case managers, job support, and mental health care. These short-term systems act like broken bridges leading halfway to recovery, then dropping people back into the void. Amid these failures, Lila's story became a wake-up call. A 27-year-old barista who grew up in foster care She once shared a small apartment near Commercial Drive. When her roommate moved out, the $1,800 rent became impossible to afford. Now, Lila stays in a temporary shelter, knitting scarves to sell on the street, each thread a fragile act of rebuilding hope. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Venice needs more than well-written policies, it needs compassion in action. Because without empathy, every budget turns to sand washed away by each wave of time. Let's continue to number 5, Stories of Resilience, where ordinary people of Venice transform pain into strength and loss into faith. Number 5, Stories of Resilience. Amid the crashing waves of Venice Beach, through the cold nights when the ocean wind cuts across sheets of thin plastic, there are still people who refuse to give up on life. They have no houses, yet they hold on to dignity, faith, and compassion for one another. A few blocks away is James, a veteran who fought in Iraq. Today, he leads the Venice cleanup crew, a small group of unhoused volunteers who pick up trash, hand out water, and help those newly on the street. We're not a burden, James says, gripping a trash bag with steady eyes. We still want to contribute to see Venice beautiful again. From those once forgotten, they have become the guardians of the very place that turned its back on them. Their stories spread quietly along Venice Beach, soft yet powerful, like an unspoken prayer carried by the wind. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Those words echo not from a church dome, but from the people outside, those who have nothing, yet keep giving everything. Even as the city wrestles with plans and disputes, people like Maria, James, and Lila have proven one truth: hope doesn't live in policy, it lives in hearts willing to share.
Love you guys. I know.
How you been? Tacos, okay?
Oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you. Gracias.
We just made it right now.
Cash out.
Oh, it's not working or what?
And now, step into number 6, the hidden toll on Venice's spirit, where loss is measured not only by the number of homeless lives, but by how a city begins to lose its very soul. Number 6, the hidden toll on Venice's spirit. Venice was once celebrated as a symbol of freedom and creativity, where artists, musicians, and travelers blended into an easy rhythm of life. But today, amid rows of faded tents and peeling graffiti walls, that spirit is slowly eroding. Streets once alive with guitar chords now fall silent. Plazas once full of laughter are shadowed by wary glances. On Oceanfront Walk, tourists take pictures beside the Venice Love mural. Yet just a few steps away, people sleep under damp blankets at the entrances of souvenir shops. That stark contrast leaves many uneasy, as though they're crossing a border between two worlds, one of light and one of forgotten souls. Cultural events that once defined Venice, the Venice Art Crawl, the Beach Festival, have been canceled or scaled back over safety and image concerns. The artist community, once the neighborhood's soul, now feels displaced, many forced out by rising housing costs. I used to paint on Venice walls out of love, one local muralist says. Now I paint just to remember this place was once home. To revive community spirit, a group of young artists launched the Mural of Hope project, Giant Walls, depicting real homeless individuals alongside their stories. Each mural is a voice against indifference, a reminder that art was once the language of empathy, not decoration. Mourn with those who mourn, rejoice with those who rejoice. As dusk falls over Venice, that verse rings like a quiet reminder: empathy is the foundation of any community. Without it, the city will be left with beautiful walls and empty hearts. Venice must be rebuilt not only with brick and steel, but with hearts willing to listen and share. Join Homeless Life Stories in number 7, Reimagining Resources for Change, where we explore how Venice can shift from temporary relief to creating real human opportunity. Number 7. Reimagining resources for change. If Venice truly wants change, the city must stop firefighting and start reimagining how to help people stand again. Millions of dollars each year go toward short-term programs, food giveaways, encampment cleanups, shelters, but these are bandages on a deep, unhealed wound. The question is no longer how do we reduce tents, but how do we make tents unnecessary? A quiet shift is underway. A new portion of Los Angeles County's budget dedicated to Venice is being redirected from short-term relief toward building livelihoods. The Work for Dignity program now pays unhoused residents daily wages for cleaning, repairing, or painting public spaces. They're no longer recipients, they're contributors again. James, the veteran who once organized cleanup crews, now works as a supervisor. "We don't need charity," he says. "We just need a chance to prove we're still useful." Venice is also experimenting with mobile job fairs set up right beside encampments on Oceanfront Walk or Rose Avenue. There, people can get temporary IDs, take photos, apply for jobs, or connect with small businesses seeking part-time workers. The model, created by the Venice Community Partnership, partners with local cafes whose owners offer a job, a cup of coffee, and sometimes a new beginning. At the same time, humanitarian groups are promoting micro-support networks, small stations offering showers, medical care, job counseling, and housing referrals. Each hub is only a few dozen square meters, but serves 100 to 200 people a week, sparing them long lines or long walks. "We're not rescuing people," one social worker says. "We're reconnecting them with life." These modest initiatives mark a major shift in thinking, from controlling a problem to restoring people. And that is the transformation Venice truly needs. "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." Venice cannot reclaim its former glory by merely cleaning streets. It must revive faith so that every person believes they still have a future worth walking toward, where scattered efforts connect again, turning compassion into policy and hope into tangible action. Number 8, building a unified future. Venice cannot be reborn through elegant paperwork alone. It needs a shared vision, one where the government, residents, and even those living on the margins come together to rebuild the meaning of community. No one can solve this crisis alone, but everyone can become part of the solution. One promising sign is Venice Community Housing, VECH, which recently completed 40 permanent supportive housing units for youth and chronically unhoused residents. Small, clean, minimalist, yet fully equipped, these homes represent more than shelter, they are tickets back to life. Raymond, a resident who had lived on the streets for over 5 years, said, "For the first time in a long while, I can lock a door and feel safe." The city is also testing adaptive routes, converting idle properties, abandoned parking lots, warehouses, and empty offices into temporary housing and community spaces. It's fast, low cost, and scalable. Each converted site not only shelters dozens, but sends a message: Venice will not let resources sit idle while people wander without homes. Another bright spot is data transparency. The Venice Accountability Dashboard, an online tracker updated quarterly, shows how many people were housed, how long they retained housing, and the average time from street to stability. Transparency builds trust and forces programs to deliver real results, not just polished numbers. Venice can once again become a symbol of art and freedom if it learns to turn compassion into policy and inspiring words into concrete action. Join Homeless Life Stories in number 9, A Path Forward, where the journey toward justice and dignity for every Venetian is drawn with faith and kindness. Number 9, a path forward. Venice's future won't be written in budget reports or planning memos. It will be built by people taking real action, from the artist painting the mural of hope, to volunteers handing out water along the shore, to small businesses hiring those who once lived in tents. Instead of repeating the endless loop of clear camps, rebuild camps, Venice is moving toward a more humane, sustainable model, small-scale housing with built-in healthcare, counseling, and job training. The Venice Care Pods program offers a concrete solution, clusters of 6 to 8 microhomes, each with social service staff, showers, and shared spaces. These tiny homes provide not just shelter, but a rhythm of daily life, a bridge between the street and a permanent home. Meanwhile, 24/7 mobile medical teams reach unhoused residents far from downtown. In 2025 alone, they responded to over 600 emergency cases of hypothermia, exhaustion, or psychological crisis. "We can't wait for them to come to the hospital," says volunteer Dr. Elena. "We have to go to them because life can't wait." Policymakers are also reviewing zoning laws to speed conversion of old buildings into affordable housing. More importantly, a new anti-displacement law will bar evictions until tenants have alternative housing, a legal shield protecting thousands from homelessness. Venice is learning to return to the root of compassion, not only to clean its streets, but to cleanse the indifference in its heart. When political decisions are carried out with empathy, this city can truly heal. And now, join Homeless Life Stories in number 10, a call to action, where the final message rises like a prayer for Venice, for the unhoused, and for us all.
All right, God bless you. See you. You want to eat something? Do you want Sunny Delight?
Number 10, a call to action. As sunset spreads gold across the Venice shoreline and street musicians strum soft guitar chords, hundreds curl up in tents, searching for warmth against the Pacific wind. They are not invisible. They are Maria, James, Lila, people who once had homes, jobs, and dreams, but whose lives were forced to start again from zero. Today, Venice stands at a crossroads of compassion. On one side lies society's fatigue, on the other the quiet cry of mercy. We cannot change everything overnight, but we can begin with one simple act. A shared meal, a smile, a blanket, or just a nod that says you are human too. Do to others what you would have them do to you. Homeless Life Stories calls on you, the one watching this. Don't scroll past. Share this story so empathy can spread faster than apathy. Volunteer, donate, or simply raise your voice for those who haven't been heard. Venice cannot reclaim its title as a symbol of freedom while its people remain chained by poverty and loneliness. Yet hope endures in every heart still willing to love and act. May Venice find its soul again, a city beautiful not just for its blue sea, but because no one sleeps beneath its cold sky anymore. Amen.
God bless you. Would you like that plate too? Okay. Okay. God bless you.
Sliders, the one that you
Oh, you like it? Which one is your favorite? I got your water too, okay?
I love how you